Yes. Okay. Yes, so yes, we were here in the controller. So your view is nothing but it comprises of HTML and CSS itself. Now, whenever user is pressing this login button at that time, what happens in the backend is these details are extracted or they are retrieved from these fields, and this retrieval of these fields. And another thing is once they are retrieved, they are compared against the data inside your database. So that querying the database and checking whether the user has entered the correct details or not, those things are done with the help of controller. Controller actually controls your view. Along with that, it can also query your database. So you have one more module here known as database. And what is this database? Database is nothing but it is known as model in your programming language. Model is nothing but a database which is stored. It could be, on a cloud also. It could be, out of the cloud. It could be on a server also. That's dependent on where you're creating and where you're storing it. But again, it could be a service from your Apache. It could be a service from your Oracle, or you can simply choose to use MySQL. It depends on which, you can use MySQL also. Depends on which provider you want to use again. But again, I think you can also use MS Access as a database. In the primary learning of your database integration, you will also use MS Access as kind of a database. It can also store and retrieve the records, and it can be used as a database for sure. So you can use any kind of service providers that you want to use. But again, it is nothing but the model part of your architecture, where your controller or any of the programming language that you are using here, it could be Python, it could be PHP, it could be JSP, JavaScript, it could be any kind of .NET framework, anything that you are using here in terms of programming language, which is retrieving the records from here and querying the database and checking whether the login is correct or not. If login is correct, then the next page should be redirected. User should be able to see the next page. Those kind of logical components are always written inside your controller, and it controls your view as well as it queries your database. So are we clear with these three modules: view, controller, and model? And together, they are known as MVC architecture. MVC in the sense model, view, and controller architecture, wherein you can design any of the component, any of the web application that you will be seeing. So far you have seen or you will be seeing in future, they will always have these three components. Just for an example, you have Django. In Django, model and views both are controlled or both are written in Python. And the view is written in HTML and JS. HTML, CSS, and JS. So that depends on which web application you want to use. But any of the, you will have this architectural pattern. You will have this pattern or this architecture whenever you are designing a web application. You have to, give the support of these three modules: MVC, model, view, and controller. Is this clear so far? Yes. Is anybody having any questions or understanding what is model, what is view, what is controller? Okay, yes. I don't know why it is not using me today. Okay, fine, no problem. Yes. So, in your Java, like in the same way you have another languages also, in your Java also you have this MVC architecture, and we follow that using the JSP. We can use any kind of database over here. We always try to use, initial series for learning, we use MS Access. But then for creating web applications, we try to use Oracle as a database along with JSP, because it is easy, because Oracle is providing us Java. So there are more beneficial libraries as compared to other providers in Oracle. So we tend to use Oracle in the backend, and then we use HTML and CSS and JS in the front end for the view part. That is the way we create any web applications in Java. But before going to JSP, you also have to revisit one more concept known as applet. So once you know applet, once you know how to add components onto your form, onto your page, and how to create your container, how to create your panel, how to create your frame, and once you know how to add these components and what should happen when how to integrate that button clicked event in your page, those kind of things. If you are aware in your applet, then you can definitely use it. You can extend them in your JSP. That is the reason we are studying applet first, and then we are moving on to JSP. And we are going to learn your JSP as the part of advanced Java in your next semesters. You are going to use your JSP. You are going to learn complete JSP in your next semester as the advanced Java. But before that, you must have the base of applet. So you must know what is the container, how to put components onto this, and then you can program it in such a way that it can manipulate the database. So that is the point where applet comes in picture. And what is an applet? Applet is nothing but a kind of, it is a Java component itself. First thing, it is a Java component itself, which allows you to create or put components onto your page. That is the use of applet. Applet allows you to put components onto your page, and it runs on the web browser. So far what programs we have seen, we always integrate, we always accept the input from your command prompt. Here we can see the output and everything. But if we go on to applet, then it runs on your web browser, and your browser must have its own JVM to run this applet. And once you install your JDK, automatically JVM is already there in your browser. We need not to worry about that. But again, your applets run in your web browser. That is the first thing. So that you are creating different pages for your web browser. Another thing is that whenever you are creating the applet, we need to, there is a separate package for that. We have java.applet package specifically for creating and adding the components onto the applet, and this applet is a package. So you need to import java.applet.star. You can do, or you can also go for specific classes. That is okay. But one more thing I'm clarifying here. Just like whenever you are creating your thread, you need to extend your class with thread. In the same way, whenever you are creating your applet, you need to extend your class with the super class applet that resides here itself in your applet package. So you need to extend your class with applet in order for creating applet in your program. That is the first thing. So we are now inheriting all the properties of applet. That is for sure. Now, whenever the applet gets created, for creating the applet, you are extending your class with applet. That is the first thing. Another thing is that, then what is the difference between creating the simpler programs and creating applets over here? So the difference is that applet classes will not have your main function. Main, your public static void main, doesn't exist in your applet. It runs as a standalone application. It doesn't require your main to come and execute. What do we do? Unless and until your main doesn't come and execute, your program will not execute. But applets are more of a standalone application. They don't require your main to execute your applet. In fact, they already have their own life cycle. Life cycle in the sense, just like you had thread life cycle, we also have applet life cycle, wherein you have stages like init, we have stages like a start, we have stop, we have destroy, and we have paint. And as the name suggested, just like you had that in thread also, your run method, your start is automatically calling your run method. Here, your start automatically calls the paint method. You need not to call paint explicitly. Actually, you need not to call any of these methods. These methods are they will be automatically called by your browser or the application where you are running your applet onto, because you are simply giving the body of these methods. What should happen when applet is initialized? Whenever it is loaded into the memory, or whenever it is starting, what should happen? Whenever it is in the running state, or whenever it is painting onto your screen, what should happen? That is written inside the paint function. Whenever you are stopping your applet, in the sense, whenever you are switching between different windows, at that time your applet is in the pause state. At that time it is in the stop state. Pause is not pause here. Pause is a stop here. So from a pause to unpause means from stop to start. It can automatically go from stop to start any which way whenever you are shifting or whenever you are switching on to your windows. And there's nothing but stop and start calling continuously. And then we have destroy when you are closing your applet. When you are closing your notepad like this, in the same way, when you are closing your applet, at that time it is calling destroy automatically. So these are the life cycle. This is stages of the life cycle of the applet, and you need not to call these functions. They're automatically called by the program or the application on which you are running your applet. Right. Now, like I said, applet can run on your web browser. Applet can run on your web browser in the sense it can run on Chrome, it can run on Mozilla Firefox, it can run on IE, it can run on Edge if you have. But all of these softwares which are allowing the use of applet for running on them, this was before 2019. Since 2019, you can even see this on your Oracle's website. Since 2019, these softwares have stopped giving the support to your applet. Why? Because they have already we have JS. JS JavaScript is capable of doing everything. JavaScript is capable of extracting the record from your text field. JavaScript is capable of validating your fields. It is also capable of throwing the query to your database. Then what is the use of applet? So they have stopped the support of applet since 2018. And since 2018, your this support has been stopped since 2018, and since 2019, your HTML5 has stopped recognizing your applet because they have already the browser has stopped embedding this allowed they've stopped the use of embedding them into the applet. So the HTML5 has also stopped embedding into your applet into your page. But again, you can definitely run your applet as a standalone application. It doesn't require the use of these browsers to work upon. I'll show it to you how to run your applet without the use of browser. Also, how can you do it? That I'll show it to you. But still, I'm just giving you one point here that before 2018, it was possible to run your applets on these browser pages, on these browser softwares. But since this year, they have stopped giving support because JS has advanced in such a way that we don't require the support of applet for running and for doing those operations. JS is sufficient. So they have stopped the support. But again, so how can you run your applet? That we'll see. But is so far everything getting clear in your mind? Okay. Just give me 1 second. Yes, I'll just be back in 1 second. Yes. Okay. So now how to create your applet? Like I said, you can create your applet using simple program like this, and it doesn't require main to execute. That is okay. So this is your applet now. We can understand that we are going to override the functions init, start, destroy, stop, and paint over here. But for the first example, I am simply keeping it simple. I am saving it on the desktop itself. I am saving it as, say for example, test.java. Now, to compile this file, we will need our command prompt. I am opening the command prompt. I can compile using javac. As for Java, it compiles fine and generates the class file. Now, as your this class is not having any function so far, it is not having void main, and even if you are writing, even if you are overriding those functions, like I said, even if you override your int, paint, start, stop, and destroy, even if you override them, there is no point, there is no scope of main function over here, because your application which is going to run the applet doesn't recognize main. Initially, when your browser was running your applet, it automatically calls the init method directly. It doesn't call main. So there is no point in mentioning here void main, because it is not going to get executed in the way you are executing our simple applications. Alright, so it is automatically going to recognize what is init, and I am starting the applet. That is all the browser is knowing. Or that is all, the application or the software in which you are running your applet, it is knowing your these functions. It doesn't recognize main over there. But if we go to the command prompt and we try to run the application in the same way we used to do it in the simple programs, then definitely the error will be there is no main method found in the class test. Please define the main method. Okay, that is the first error. But now, if I want to run the applet, if I want to execute and see the applet application, then I can do it in two different ways. I am showing you the first way in the first case. In the first way, I am creating a new text file, and in this text file, I am mentioning my applet code. Now, as I told you, applets can run on web browser, so it is kind of an HTML code here. Applet is actually an HTML tag, and I can use applet to mention what code I need to load here on this applet, or which class file should I load here on the applet. Actually, I have the class file known as a test. Okay, so you need to load test.class. Yes, I want to load test class. Okay, then what is the dimension of the page wherein you want to run this test.class? I want to run the test.class in I'm just giving some random values over here in this sized window. I'm giving the window size in pixels that I want to run the applet in this window. So the window size of the applet should be this. Okay, done. Now if I save this file, just see the extension in which I am saving the file. I am saving the file with .text only. I am saving this as suppose p.text. Okay, it is a .txt file itself. All right, it is a text document. Here we have a text document, and we go to our command prompt to run the applet. We cannot use Java test. It is for running our simple void main programs. For running applet, we need applet viewer. And applet viewer is one command in your command prompt. Applet viewer, you want to view the applet. From which file do I have to load the applet? I have mentioned the code of applet in your p.txt. Okay, so you can run your p.txt. So we have the applet over here. It is a standalone application. I can increase and decrease the size of the window, of course, as per I need. I can resize it. It is mentioning that it is started, but it is not initialized. I haven't written any code here. I haven't overridden the method init or anything. It is simply a blank applet, so it is showing you that message over here. This is known as the status bar of the applet, where whatever is happening over here, it can show you the message here itself. So if you want to change the status bar to anything, you can definitely change the status bar by using the show status or status method that we are going to see for sure. But this is status bar of the applet window. And from here, you have all the methods of resetting, restarting, reloading, then saving, whatever you wish to do, printing the applet also. And if you wish, you can even quit or close the applet from there itself. Just mark one more thing here. Just see one more thing here. Whenever it is in the running mode, it is still running. Whenever this is not returning the prompt yet, the command prompt, it is not written yet. Once I close or destroy the applet, once you close the applet window, it calls the destroy function. And once it is destroyed, it automatically returns the prompt of the command prompt. So this is how we can run the applet with the first way. By creating any random file, you can even save it with .html extension, doesn't matter. Because applet viewer knows from where I have to find the applet code. The applet code is nothing but your code. This applet code is nothing. Applet viewer knows that I have to read this code only. For many of the extension of the file, you can write this. You can even embed this in some HTML document, and then also if you run with applet viewer, it is going to run fine for sure. Another way of running this applet code into your applet file itself. If you don't wish to create one more file, then I can simply copy this code. I can go to my applet file and I can paste the code anywhere. Now, this code is definitely an erroneous code when we compile. See, if I try to compile this file, it is an erroneous code for sure. It doesn't know what is applet. It is an HTML tag. No, so it doesn't know what is an applet tag here. But I can put this line in a comment section, and I am saving it again, and I compile it again. Of course, it will compile fine. Then how to run it? The same way you ran the previous file. Applet viewer knows I have to find the applet code. So if I use applet viewer and now I try my file name along with extension, which is a new thing for you because you are not writing extensions when you are running the file in the previous case. Here you are mentioning the extension of the file also. And then when you press enter, oh, it is not a text, it is a test.java. Yes. Yes. Then again it is creating the applet in the same way it has to create. And it is still loading it. And once you close, it is going to truncate the application. So in the same way, you can do it like this also. If you don't wish to create a separate file like this, you can embed your applet code here itself. Your JVM, this applet JVM already knows I have to search for the applet tag and find this class and run this class. That is all it knows. Also, your class should be pre-compiled. If it is not compiled, then obviously applet cannot load because applets can be loaded from your class file itself. So before compiling, if you try to run again, it's an error for you. You need to compile the class, compile the program, and then you can run it. Yes, is anybody having any questions so far? Okay. Okay, fine. Then I will show you. Yes, okay. Then let me show you how to create applet programs in your NetBeans. We just go to a new project in the same way we are doing initially. We go to new project. You can name it as anything. No, let me name it as just applet. I don't want to create a new class. I'll just create a finish. So yes, we have this test applet folder over here. Okay. Now in this folder, we can create a new file by using new, and we create Java class like this. But today I want to create an applet inside it. So I'll go to other. I will go to applet. Applets are of again two types. We'll see JApplet and Swing later on. They have two different types that we'll see later on. But I'll click on applet and click on the next. I can name it as simply test and finish. Then you have your applet here. And I told you it is already extending applet. So we need to include your import statement over here. And it is used for init. Init is used as initialization method. So we can definitely remove this comments and everything for now. And to override, you can see start, stop, and destroy methods. We are going to do that for sure. And I'm simply overriding one small method paint that I've told you before. I'm overriding paint over here. It is not showing the annotation override over here because I am not done overriding it yet. If I want to override paint, I need to pass the graphics reference over here or graphics object over here, which I need to include first. Okay. And then I can see it is having override annotation. So simply your paint method is taking graphics class object here. And with that object only, we can draw anything onto your applet. See, for example, currently I am simply showing you one small thing here that I want to, print some hello world or something. Now at so and so location, I am mentioning I want to print hello world at x and y 50, 50. And I will simply run this file. And after it is created, you can resize it in however way you want. And it prints hello at 50, 50 x and y location. Alright. So here you don't need to worry about creating the applet tag, just like we were doing it over here in your command prompt and this notepad. You can you can you don't have to worry about it. It automatically is done using your accidentally shut down my NetBeans. Yes, it's automatically done using your NetBeans. We need not to worry about that. One more thing is we'll try to print, we'll try to see if we can get the applet life cycle in order or not. Let us see how to. Where is it? Yeah. Let us see if we can override all the functions of your applet life cycle and see the message. I am overriding void init here, and I'm simply printing here. Okay, I'm simply printing that this is the function init. Then we have start. These all are the functions itself, just like you have them in the life cycle. They are the functions itself. Then we have, as they are overridden, they are public in nature. Also make sure that you are mentioning them as public. Top. And then we have destroy. And we are simply painting something over here using the paint function. I can also print here SOP that I am calling paint here. Now, whenever we try to run this file, SOP is a command line. It is used for printing the command line parameters for command line output. So it is printing this here in command line C. Start automatically called paint, and init is called only once throughout the life cycle of the applet because it gets initialized only once. Now, if I try to shift from here, see, I'm switching the window. I'm currently pointing to your NetBeans window. So it is calling stop, like pause of your applet. Once I click on it again, it is calling start and paint again. Start will always call paint again and again. Again, I minimize, I'm shifting the windows, switching out the windows, stop for pausing the applet. It is still in the running state itself, running state, but paused application. Again, start and paint. And once I destroy, once I click that cross button, it destroys. So destroy and init, both the functions are called only once throughout the life cycle of the applet, but these other functions are called, and according to the sequence, and these functions are overridden. They are already there in your applet class. We are simply providing our own methods body for that function. That is it. And we can put override annotation over here for sure. If I am able to show you, let me see if yes, applet class. What I wanted to show you is let me see if these methods are written over there. See, they are blank only. They haven't given any body for it, meaning you have to give your own body for it. Stop. These are the methods. See, start, stop. They are having there is no body inside it. Okay, you have to give your own body. But again, why they have not kept them as abstract is because you don't have to mandatorily override all of them here. Without these methods, also the program can run fine. See, even if I simply mention paint over here for whatever I want to do in your applet, program can run fine. That is the reason they have not mentioned here abstract. They have simply given them as non-abstract because the user can choose to override if they want to. Otherwise, it is okay. If you don't want to override, again, it is okay for you. You can simply, it is simply going to do nothing when starting it and stop and destroy or call. Okay. But again, paint is required for drawing whatever you want to draw onto your applet. So we always require paint method to put stuff onto your applet. That is the reason we are using paint method. Even if you are drawing your buttons, you are drawing your text fields, you will require paint method to draw stuff on your applet. Okay. Is anybody having any questions so far?
Can you elaborate why they can't be abstract?
Okay. The reason why they are not abstract is if applet class was abstract, then all the methods of abstract class like init, start, I'm just giving you a few methods example. There are so many methods of applet class, but these methods like init, then start, destroy, stop, they have to be compulsorily given body by the class that extends it. But I can choose to not to give its body. See, currently I'm not giving any body for init. If I want to do some stuff when the applet is starting, whenever the applet is starting, say for example, you want to play some sound in the back end whenever the applet is starting. So you can choose to override that method. That whenever it is starting, you have to play some sound, you have to play some audio. And whenever it is shifting its focus, whenever you are minimizing the window, at that time the audio should be stopped, again it should be played again. So that is again your implementation. If you wish to give, you can give. But again, if you don't want to do any activity at the start, then you can choose to not to write its body. That is the reason it is non-abstract. If it were abstract, then you need to mandatorily give all the functions body here, no, in the class that you are extending it. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is there are so many methods of this graphics class. Oh, one more thing. Yes, I forgot to add. The graphics class belongs to your AWT package. AWT stands for let me write the full form first. Abstract Window Toolkit. Toolkit. It stands for Abstract Window Toolkit. And what tools you can get on your windows? Oh, well, you can put buttons, you can create a canvas, you can create checkbox. So you see all of these, where is it? Okay, let me do it again here. So all these components, they dialog box, events, font, whatever you want to add, image if you want to add, you want to change the layout, you want to add the menu items, anything you want to add onto your screen, all the object, text field, checkbox, anything that you text area, these things can be added, labels, they can be added by using AWT. AWT package is full of all the components. And Applet gives you mechanisms it gives you methods for adding or listening to those events. And it gives you methods such as paint for putting stuff onto your applet. That is the use of applet class and this applet package and applet class itself. And all these components can be added using AWT along with the graphics class, which allows you to draw something onto your applet. That is the reason we are importing here graphics. Now you can choose to write it style itself, it is totally your choice. But again, that is the reason Paint is using graphics object over here because it is putting stuff like text boxes, rectangles, whatever components you want to put onto your applet. That is the reason Paint is using graphics object over here. And I wanted to explore different methods of GC. You can draw anything over here. If you simply start with drawing an arc, it can draw a circle. You can set the color, you can fill oval, fill arc, fill polygon. Draw string is used for drawing the string that I have shown you. X and Y being the location. You can draw rectangles, you can draw lines. Anything that you wish to draw, you can draw. You can even draw image over here. You can put image also onto your applet. That will see how to do it. But I want you to try exploring these different methods like rectangle, line, oval, arc, everything. And also see how to set the color. We can set the color, set the font. We can set the color. Again, whenever you are setting the color, you need to call the static variable of color. Color itself is one class here. And it is having, see, it is an AWT. And it is having all of this different colors which are there. If you don't find the color name written inside over here, if you want something else, you can also set the color by using the HSB, RGB to HSB. Those things you can do. You can put the value of RGB and you can put your HSB value over there and then you can get the color. You can differently get the color also. That is totally your choice, how you want to get the color by using the name of the color. That also you can do. So try to explore these different ways of drawing different objects onto your applet. One simple example that we usually give to kids is try to create a happy smiling face. That is it. A happy face, simply, try to create something like this. Uh, Creating a big circle, so you have the practice of how to create the circle. Creating small circles, you know, creating an arc at 180 degrees on this side, minus 180, like this, and using lines to create a triangle, rectangle if you want, otherwise it is okay. Yeah, you can create something like this. You can have practice of, and you can also set the colors by using set color. So I want you to open your NetBeans and explore different methods of graphics class. Whatever you wish, you can draw. I'm not forcing you to. I'm not insisting you to draw this only. But at least if you try a few components, then you can get the idea. Also try the also try the 3D rectangle, 3D functions. Where is it? Ah, yeah, 3D rectangle. The rectangle will be kind of raised, kind of embossed. Try to fill the color inside it. Try to see what all you can do with these functions. You can also draw the rounded rectangle like this. Rounded rectangle in the sense the rectangle corners will be rounded with the following attributes. Try to explore different methods. Please, once you are facing any issues or once you're done, you can share your screen. Yes, Nikita. Okay, no worries. one of the question of your lab manual states that you need to just draw the circle by using draw oval method, and it should have a radius of 100 pixels. So this also you can do. Try to explore different methods of.
Ma'am, I have done oval.
Yes, yes, yes. Please share your screen. Frame is there. Polymer frame is there in the syllabus. Yes, you are creating an oval. Yes, correct, correct, correct. Good, good. Now, if you try to set the color and how to fill the color inside it, that will you please try once? Yes. I think fill oval is one of the fill. Yes. First, you need to set the color and then create a fill oval. See, fill oval will be created with that color if you initially set the color. So before you create the fill oval, you need to set color. So G dot set color, and after that, if you fill oval according to that color, that oval will be filled. Please try that. Yes. So every time you need to create, if you want to set that color, then we use set color and then fill of that particular object. Got it? Please try rectangles also, then arc also, string also. In string also you can set the color, set the background color. Do you have any functions? Set background, set foreground, those are functions. Please experiment. Yes, yes. So is anybody having any questions so far? Whenever you get time at home, please try to experiment different methods of your graphics class. And the first question of your lab manual in your this applet is question number 22. Please try to run that program. It is very simple. Create the circle using draw oval method. You can even use draw oval, or you can even use draw arc. Draw arc, you just need to give the starting point, ending point, and the angle for which you want to draw the arc for. If you give the starting angle as 0, and if you give the ending angle as 360, then it will be a circle for sure. According to that, you can draw the arcs accordingly. And you can use fill and set color in coordination to set the color of that particular object. Try to draw different shapes onto your applet so that you get experience of how to create objects on the applet. Okay, I'll take the attendance and then you all can leave. Ayush? Rohan, Vipin,
Present, ma'am.
Manav,
Yes, ma'am.
Anuj, Riddhi, Nidhi is there. Yashraj, Darsh,
Yes, ma'am.
Ansi,
Yes, ma'am.
Nikita,
Present, ma'am.
Manthan,
Present, ma'am.
Dev Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Devansh,
Present, ma'am.
Ala,
Yes, madam.
Shang,
Yes, ma'am.
Vipin,
Yes, ma'am.
Tushar,
Present.
Yash,
Present.
Amir,
Present, ma'am.
Parmar,
Present, ma'am.
Udairaj, Rishabh, Ivanshi, is present. Yes. Janvi,
Present, ma'am.
Anushali, Harshvardhan, Vijayaraj,
Present, ma'am.
Dhanya,
Present, ma'am.
Bharti, Avinash,
Present, ma'am.
Ranjul, Limbani,
Present, ma'am.
Arjan, Maharani, yes. Maharana, Tanmayraj,
Yes, ma'am.
Vignesh Prasad,
Present, ma'am.
Anjwani, Sushil Prasad,
Present, ma'am.
Anjwani is there. Dhruvi,
Yes, ma'am.
Metik, Dharmik, Mohammed, Kunal,
Present, ma'am.
Nidhi, Arpit, Meghna,
Yes, ma'am.
Yash,
Present.
Ma'am, Nidhi present.
yes, Nidhi, I have marked your presence. Divya, Saif Ali, Samir Alam, yes. Samir Alam, yes. Isha,
Present, ma'am.
yes. Vibhucha, Om, Aditya,
Ma'am, Vibhusha present.
Vibhucha there, right? Yes. Viplani, Aditya Jain, Jayatakan, Priyank,
Present, ma'am.
Tushar, Nikita,
Present, ma'am.
yes. Girish,
Present, ma'am.
Karthik, enrollment number 62, 3 is present, 61, 59, 60, 63, Hima
Present, ma'am.
is 65,
Present, ma'am.
73, Mohammed is there,
Present, Sri.
yes. 73 are not there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. 67, Darshan, Jaideep, Kriti,
Present, ma'am.
yes. Vaishali,
Present, ma'am.
Vasu, Kunal,
Present, ma'am.
Oliver is there. Then you all can leave the session. Yes, Darshan, I have marked your presence.
Ma'am, present.
Yes, yes, yes. Mark your presence.